Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen Williams, founder and president of the CreditRepairShop.com. And we're going to talk about, in today's video, we're going to talk about the debt that's being released in the market. The debt collection sellers had a big, huge sale, and they're pumping up the debt collection inventory that's available on the market. It's in the millions, multi-millions of dollars. I'm going to also talk about someone who put a thank you post on YouTube here for what I had told them to do regarding a debt collection. And also, I'm going to talk about dealing with the holidays, how to stay positive and knowing yourself. Because it's not just about the technical aspects of credit repair and getting out of debt. It's about your thinking. If you do not think a certain way, no matter how much information and stuff that I give you and what other people give you, the first part of it comes from your positive thinking. And if you can get that down, you're going to be 50% along the way of success for whatever you want to do with your credit and debt, and with yourself, with life, with moving forward in life. So now let's talk about the debt that's being released on the market. Here we go. $1.5 million in mixed credit card. These are all mixed credit cards, which would be a mix of department store cards or regular credit card companies, major credit card companies. So we got 1.5 million released, charge off date 2011, and you know what I say about the charge off dates. That's past statute of limitations. We're in 2019, so none of this debt is valid. All you would have to do is challenge the debt collector. That let me clarify, because I think sometimes people get that mixed up. When you get the letter from the debt collector, you don't challenge the credit reporting agencies. You challenge the statute of limitations directly to the debt collector. Sometimes people will challenge it to the credit reporting agencies. 9 times out of 10, this wasn't even on your credit report from the debt collector, but you should challenge it to the original creditor and the credit reporting agencies for the original creditor when it's past the statute of limitations for having it on your credit reports, which is 7 years for a negative item. Okay, now we got $9 million, charge off date 2007. Man, we're talking 13 years. 4.7 million, charge off date 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14. So whatever, if you were to receive this from something from this debt collector, you'd have to look at when your charge off date was. The number one way to find that out is to get your credit reports. I always talk about that. I have a link below this video, or go to the number 3 credit. The number your3scores.com. Your3scores.com. Man, forgetting my own site there. Go there, get your credit reports, and see when the original charge-off date was. It's very important in lining up your ammunition on how to fight a debt collector that's coming after you. Next one, $4.7 million. 2010 was the charge-off date. And then $5 million was for the last one that I have listed here. 2010 was charge-off date. These are just some of the ones that's here, but there's big ones. Payday loans being released. Auto repo debt being released. Some other minor jewelry cards being released into the market. All of these charge-off dates are ridiculously past statute of limitations. So just really quick, let's review what to do when you receive it from the debt collection company. Get your credit reports, and the link is below this video. Get your credit reports. Look at the original charge-off date. If it's past the statute of limitations for your state, all you have to do is you go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, or look it up online for the statute of limitations for contract law in your state. If it's past that date, you don't even have to talk about the debt. You just simply write a letter to the debt collection company notifying them that according to the laws of your state, that this debt that they're trying to come after you for is past statute of limitations, and you want them to cease all collection activities, or you will report them to the proper authorities in your state, which would be the state attorney general's office, or it could be the Department of Financial Institution for your state, who maintains the license for the debt collector to even be able to collect debt in your state. And you send them that letter, everything will go away because they're going to know not to fool with you. So that's what you need to do with those. Now, let's get into the holidays. Let's get into thinking positive and moving forward. A lot of people I see. Oh, well, first, before we do that, let's talk about the person. Her name is Faye on YouTube. Thank you if you're watching the video now, Faye. Thank you for posting the comment. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the detail that you went into. In the comment, it says that let's see here. They were summoned, had a summons come in, did not take the summons, didn't talk with the creditor, which was Portfolio, or the local attorney. There was a pre-trial set in August. Said that, I hope this is right, Faye, I hope this is a female, said that she was scared, and but she had watched one of my videos and then asked in a comment, she had posted a comment and asked what she should do. I said that I can't give legal advice, but this is what I would do if I was in your situation. And I advised to send a validation, did that, they didn't respond, or they sent back several copies of the account statements for both of the claims, and then she put another post on there asking me what should she do, because they said that, you know, they sent that stuff back, and I said that, well, you need to send a letter back. I know I'm getting mixed up, and I'm sorry for doing that. Let me just read it. Stephen, I don't know if you remember my situation, but I avoided being served. Let me make this bigger here. Okay. I avoided being served with a summons, never talked with the creditor, Portfolio, or their local attorney. Went to pre-trial in August. I was scared. I had been following you and asked your non-legal personal advice. You advised I sent a validation letter, and I did. The attorney sent several copies of account statements for both of the claims. I came back to you, and you advised to send the letter asking that they provide proof they own my account. The attorney sent the same letter and account statement with a new cover letter saying that the account was all FDCPA, which is Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, required them to send, which is not true. The court was today at 1:30 p.m. and they did not show. I was called in with the judge at 2 p.m. and immediately he said that it was dismissed the suit, that he dismissed the suit. Thank you so much, because if you had not responded, I probably would not have shown up today. You are a blessing to so many people.
New visitor.
Do you think it would I should file a counterclaim to keep them from coming after me again or selling it to another company, or is that even necessary? Thank you and happy holidays to you and your family. All right. Number one, again, Faye, thank you for putting that comment on there, testimony about what I had told you to do regarding that collection. It's up to you if you want to file the claim moving forward, you would have to get an attorney to do that, because it has to be filed a certain way to be able to get the information, to be able to get the lawsuit, to win that lawsuit against the debt collection companies. There's several attorneys that specialize in doing that, and if you like, I can connect you with someone that might have someone in your area. But this is you. The unfortunate thing is that you do have to have an attorney in your area, and there's certain things that you would have to prove that they did when they broke the law, coming after you for it. And from what I've seen is that there's some things that they have to actually say. Uh, and from what you've put right here, I don't know if they've actually crossed that line, but you never know. Maybe there was other things that they sent you before you had contacted me, things that paperwork that an attorney could look at and see if they've crossed that line. But there are certain things that they have to say, and most of the time they need to get it recorded to be able to make that happen. But again, thank you, and thank you for posting a comment, and happy holidays to you and your family. And now let's get into dealing with the holidays, positive thinking. A lot of people with comments, emails, people that I even know here in my city, when I talk to them, and they tell me that a lot of, it's not all of them, but some of the people say that they're under a lot of stress, that the holidays just brings a lot of stress to them, because they're just, they're either trying to do things for family members or kids, and a lot of people go into a huge amount of debt at this time of the year. And so I want to just go back to a personal story of what my wife and I did back in 1994. We started our first company in 1990, our advertising magazine. I have a copy here. I'll show you. That's crazy. I don't even have a copy of my own magazine sitting here on my desk. We started our advertising publication. We advertise for local businesses in our area here. And when I started that company, I was just out of the U.S. Army, and I was working a third shift security guard job. I was 20 years old, my wife and I, and we started that company with $500. Back then, when you're talking about computers and stuff, computers that we get now were like $3,500, $4,000 back then. It was nothing like it is today. Software was like $1,000, $2,000. The fact you even getting a fax machine was expensive, and but we put our stuff on layaway. And I remember it was a small computer store, Computer Adventure in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Eric, he very nice gentleman. He let us, my wife and I, come into the computer store. We had the computer on layaway. He let us come in there and learn how to use the computer so we can get our business off the ground. And we paid it off, and we, hit the ground rolling. We knew nothing about the advertising and newspaper publishing business, but we just wanted to be in it. And what it is at that time, a lot of those free publications started coming out, like Penny Saver, those shoppers. And but we started that business, and within 8 months I was able to quit that security guard job. I was working from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. and then get a couple hours sleep, and then we would work our business. And after 8 months, and really after 3 months, I could have quit, but I was scared to quit because I felt that getting a paycheck from them was more security than me being on my own and not having a paycheck coming in. But at 8 months, my wife and my best friend at that time, they called me up and they said, "You need to quit that job and be on your own." And so we went on. We went on our own, and I haven't worked for anyone since I was the age of 20, and I turned 51 years old this past August. And so to get back on track, I had lost my train of thought. But so from that period of time to 2004, we ended up making $100,000 a year. Like we were making that in our pocket, taking that home after all of the other expenses. And what had happened was during that period of time, we had bought everything. We had, I think, 4 cars. Our kids had the same thing, like video games and stuff. They each had their own game in their room, their own TV. Like we went crazy. We just blew through so much money that we were actually spending more money than we were bringing in on just paying payments on everything. So we got into that situation. And I remember in 1994, it was Christmas in 1994, and that's what brings it to my mind every Christmas, is that my wife and I sat down at the kitchen table and we said that we just not going to live this way no more. You know, we were barely surviving in 1990, and now we're making over 100 grand a year, and we're barely surviving. We got a lot of money, but we're paying it all in payments. So we just kind of just flipped situation, just flipped where you had money and it was all going out. And Christmas 1994, we made some decisions, and we said, number one, we're only going to get Christmas presents for the children. Everyone else, we were going to send cards and tell them that just tell them our situation, that, it was just going to be limited. We weren't going to be buying presents for everybody. And then we sat down and we put together a plan to get out of debt. And the strategy at that time was to either give it back and pay the difference, sell it, and settle the different credit cards and stuff that we had. It took us all the way till 1999 to get all of that stuff situated. And I learned so much about debt, learned so much about credit, learned so much about saving money. Because during that time, we had saved a lot of money. That was during the period of time where I had paid cash for my first vehicle rather than financing the vehicle. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against financing a vehicle. I think that it's actually a smart thing to do, especially if you're not going to keep the vehicle. Now, if you're like me, who keeps my vehicles for a long time, then you want to pay off the vehicle, because I keep mine for a long time. I'm still driving a 2007 Mercedes SL 550. I'm still driving a 2010, which I bought when it was 2 years old, Range Rover. And we just last year or this year bought a 2016 Range Rover Autobiography, and we keep cars for a long time. We don't switch out cars, and but if you're having that problem where it's like you're under a lot of stress and pressure, I would advise you to send Christmas cards to people, thank them for being there for you in different times if they've helped you out, thank them for being just your family member. Figure out a way to do it. Take care of the children. Don't go overboard. And also, we only did that Christmas in cash. That was the first Christmas that what we didn't have in cash to spend, or what we didn't allocate to spend in cash, we didn't spend. No credit cards. We had actually cut up the credit cards and everything at that time. So that would be the strategy that I would do. That would be like taking step number one. Sit down if you're married, put together a strategy, and then stick to it. Both of you agree to it and stick to it. And then through the whole process, you have to stay positive. You have to. Positive thinking is like the number one thing that gets me by every day. When I wake up in the morning, first thing I start doing is thinking positive, thinking about what I want, thinking about how I want the day to work out. Because what you visualize, what you tell yourself is usually what will materialize throughout the day. So if you start off negative, you're going to find negative things happening to you throughout the day. You're only going to see negative things. If you start positive, you're going to see more positive things. So you have to do that. And then there's another part to the whole puzzle, which if you've ever been in with motivational speakers or life coaches or uh, uh, people that are spiritual coaches, people like that, they talk about knowing yourself. Like the number one thing you got to do is know yourself. And Reverend Ike talks about this. He says like once you know yourself, you know everything. And I had to hear that a whole bunch of times. Like, well, what do you mean by know yourself? Like, what do you actually mean? Like, do I know who I am? Do I know my name? Do I know what I want to do? Do I know who I want to be around? Like all, and when you when you run that through your mind over and over, you say like know yourself, and it really comes down to know yourself is to know that you can do, be, and have anything that you want. And then that's like the foundation. And then knowing yourself is to number one, understand that, and then to allow yourself to grow from that foundation. And that's where you end up knowing yourself, because then you don't do things that you don't want to do because you know yourself. And if someone tries to get you to do something that you don't want to do, you are strong enough from yourself from the inside. You don't need outside to come into you. Everything that happens and that you put out there and the things that you do come from within. So that means that if you have the opportunity to make $1 million doing something, but it's going to be against what you want for yourself, against what you set for yourself as your morals, your values, uh, and it could be something that is positive and it's just something that you don't want to do because you don't want to be away from your family, then you yourself would not take that opportunity because you know that you can make your own opportunities. That's when you look at where people fail and you'll be like, why did this person that's successful and they have all of these personal problems? It's because they are letting the outside manipulate them and tell them what they think they should do rather than them taking control of themselves and doing what they want to do with their career. And that's why you see that happen with a lot of people. And then you see other people that are in the same field, business, industry, or just a regular person, and that's maybe a mom at home, and they you know they live a life. They're happy, content. They do things that they want to do, and it's because they live from the inside out rather than the outside in. And it's very important. And so, for me myself to know myself, to understand that I can be what I want to be, do what I want to do, and have what I want to have. When you start to grow the tree from that foundation, there's going to be a lot of doubts that come to your mind, and you're going to have to go back to what I just said with that foundation. So, if you want to make a change in your life, if you want to uh, do something that you haven't done before, you're going to have doubts that come to your mind. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to go back to your foundation and you have to say to yourself again that I can do what I want to do, be what I want to be, and have what I want to have. And then you do what you want to do, and you don't worry about what other people are saying, what if people are laughing at you or whatever. When my wife and I started the publication, there were a lot of people that laughed at us. Our neighbors that were next to us in the studio apartment next to us would say, "You're working on that thing again." They used to call it that thing. And, people didn't understand. It's because they come from what their own understanding is. And what you're doing is you're bringing out what you want to be. And then you can't get stuck on how that's going to happen. That's what I think that's probably why a lot of people don't ever accomplish what they want to accomplish in their life, is because they get stuck on the how. And when our neighbors were looking at us putting together the publication on the floor with the door open, because you could see across the hall from one studio apartment to the other one, and we had the door open because it was very hot in there. We couldn't really keep the AC on like we wanted to, because the electric bill was very expensive. But we would put it together, and we were laying on the floor, and we were like piecing the ads and saying, this is where this ad will go, and this is where this text will go. That's what we were actually doing on the floor, and they didn't understand that. They didn't have the thought in their mind of that little thing that they're doing would turn into millions of dollars and help me buy real estate and save a lot of money and employ people. Like, I have full-time employees that have worked for me for years, and if my wife and I didn't go on the floor and do that, and we just let everything that people said to us from the outside guide what we wanted to do from the inside, we would have never accomplished that, because we would have just quit. But because what we did is we laid a foundation, that was more on accident, was laying that foundation of, we know what we wanted. We didn't know exactly how it would work out. We know what we wanted to do, and we just had dreams of what we wanted to have, and we accomplished that, and we're doing even more things now. So knowing yourself, for today's lesson, the first part of it is just to lay the foundation and let that sink in, and let the thoughts come into your mind, let the doubts come into your mind, and then you repeat to yourself again that to know myself is to know that I can be what I want to be, do what I want to do, and have what I want to have. That's what you will repeat, and you do not need to get stuck on how. You do not need to get stuck on how. All right, so we're going to close out the video. I will make a video before Christmas. And if you don't get to watch my video before Christmas, I want everyone to have a happy Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I look forward to making more videos and giving you content so you can move forward with your life with credit and debt. If you need help, or you post your comments, subscribe to my YouTube channel here. Go to the website, thecreditrepairshop.com. If you need your scores, go to the website, the3scores.com. Everything starts with knowing what's on your credit report. Don't guess it. Know what's on there. Again, this is Stephen Williams, founder and president of thecreditrepairshop.com. I really, truly thank you for your time.